Hey guys, welcome to our end of the year, I guess, movie review part two. So we talked about Wonder Woman 1984. We meaning Dre, Max, and I. So now we're going to talk
Oh,
about the best movie we've seen during these holiday times, the Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year's, Hanukkah season. Soul from Pixar.
So, yep.
Definitely a masterpiece. All right, tear
Ye-
done.
I like to say that thank God for Soul. So we watched Wonder Woman on I think Saturday, and then on
Yep.
Sunday we watched Soul, and it just we needed that. Soul was
Need it
like
for your
like
soul.
yeah, it's like the Ghost of Tsushima
mm,
of movies where you feel like nobody cares anymore, and then they come out with Soul, where it's a project where people care.
yeah.
The people that look like us really do look like us and act like us, and their haircuts. That movie was so amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say Soul. Because here's the thing we were afraid of with Soul. So I'll just say the premise really quick, right? So Jamie Foxx plays a musician in New York City. It's New York City. It's obvious. They don't even say it, but you know it. Nick's
It's New York, yeah.
references, yeah. But he plays a musician, Joe Gardner, right down on his luck a bit, or not. He's not unsuccessful, but he's kind of like, all right, just your
a
average.
loser, right?
No, no, like music teacher. Like it's still respectable. He still has a good life, but he's not feeling like passion, right? So then he kind of has like a near death experience, and his
Kind
soul
of.
goes into
No,
the.
Nigga
he
died.
has a death
I don't want to
experience.
say.
So,
He has a death experience right before a big gig, and
Yeah,
a lot of my criticisms on the trailer
what
about
you
the
thought?
movie,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I was completely wrong.
Spies in
It's
disguise.
funny. I went to watch the worst movie I ever seen in my life to
Uh,
possibly the best movie
Within
I ever seen in
24
my life.
hours.
Within 24 hours, but like I always felt like, oh man, I guess we can't stay black in these movies. We always got to look like a little something. But like, there's enough camera time for even like the black human characters, and
Yeah.
where we don't not the soul looking characters, and that I really appreciated that. Every time I thought the movie was gonna do a certain thing, it did not. It did not do anything predictable. So it was just like sitting there and trusting the writers and really enjoying the movie.
And that's the difference from what you guys said with Wonder Woman. With Soul, you think
True.
it's going to be one way, like, okay, he's just going to be stuck in the spirit world, I guess, the soul
Yeah.
world, and he's going to have to learn to appreciate life. And there is that, but it also has other scenes with, like, him training Tina Fey, okay, but then him coming back to the real world. Should we say spoilers? Said it for
of
Wonder
course,
Spoilers
Woman.
it's a
alert. Yeah.
spoiler.
Being him switching buys with the cat, you thought, oh, okay, now the next
To
movie
be
is
fair,
just going to
Wonder
be in the
Woman was pretty
cat,
unexpected.
but that's the thing, right? But it doesn't just stay with him being a cat. He's a cat for like what, like 20 minutes, while rest of the movie he's back to himself. He also like maybe a little longer than that, but still like.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman, it was like scene to scene, but it didn't connect. There was no meaning. We're here in Soul. It's like, hey, he's getting his passion back and realizing, in him and Tina Fey, like, hey, this is living.
Yeah.
Where Wonder Woman was what? Don't cheat, and none of the scenes connected, and it caught you off guard. Definitely caught you off guard, but it didn't. You're like, who's writing this? Oh
I
man,
I would have to see the movie a second time because there's so many good core values within the movie, and then
there's a
the
lot.
overall
Yeah,
value of it,
yeah.
it's really good. What do you think, Andre?
Um, Definitely one of my favorite movies. I remember I called my sister and I was like, "Oh, you have to see Soul." She said, "I saw it." Honestly, one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life
Yeah.
when it comes to the aspect of like the bigger picture of life and everything. And honestly, watching this movie, I felt like I was meditating like at the end of
Seriously,
the movie. I like,
seriously.
and to be
Mm.
funny, yesterday, because after we saw the movie Sunday, yesterday and it was Monday, and I got home from work, and I was like kind of stressing. I just got out the car and I was like, I just like smelled the air, and it like felt so great for
Yeah,
the first time in a long time. And I never like, I always think I always appreciate life, and I always enjoy life, and I always think I understand. Like, hey, you enjoy it, but that movie really let me know, like, yo, all the stuff I stress about is really not a big deal.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it really
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
I was in bed yesterday, and I was like the comfort you feel when you're in your sheet, and the
Yeah.
way it hugs you, and the way you like to your pillow and everything. Like that's those
And that
little
is
things.
meditation, man. That is
Yeah,
meditation in a way. Even though there's different types. There's hundreds of right different philosophies and types of meditation, but that is one type, right? Where yeah, some could be like detaching yourself and going into a different world, but others is enjoying now, not like realizing what do you hear, see,
yeah.
feel,
It's
smell,
mindfulness,
whatever.
like my
Yeah,
wife put it.
mindfulness, exactly. And I'll say this. This isn't a criticism with the movie, but I'm
No,
so no. Oh no.
How
The
dare you?
yeah we I think
because you don't like black people,
yeah I'm sure someone out there defends Wonder Woman as well, right? So
David.
We don't like women.
and so with Soul, that might sound like this might sound like criticism, right? But I'm used to shows with like or movies with like there is an objective and a theme, but this seems more like you guys are saying, just like mindfulness meditation. Like it doesn't.
Yeah,
It's not like this is a theme. Like you know what I mean. Like be. It's more like hey, we're just gonna carry you guys through experience rather
yeah,
than
and
you, which is actually I don't want to tie it into a theme,
mhm,
but like jazz, like that. You're not waiting
that
for
is
yo.
true.
This is the verse that he's gonna spit fire like it's hip hop or rap or like pop or whatever. But like jazz is just you're there for the smooth beginning to end. Switching it up and
Have
everything
you heard of a band
like the
called
movie.
the? Is it called the Big Fish? It's
Big
Pish
big
or Fish?
fish. I'll check.
Yeah, I know about fish. I know
Yeah,
about fish. Yeah,
like one guy at
Oh,
work, he
I
was
know
just
fish.
playing
Yeah.
it. I remember I heard it in the past at work, and I
the
was like, oh,
fandom
cool.
is serious.
Yeah,
No, it's
real
racist,
big
but
fish. I
low
have a
key,
friend. I have a friend of mine.
low key,
Uh,
I got stuck in it, and like I didn't connect because I saw Soul the day before and
mm,
yesterday, and because sometimes I listen to music at work, and I'm like, yo, honestly, music like this, low key, you don't get distracted. Like,
mm,
cause it's like
Yeah,
yeah.
jazzy, like yo, it's just like kind of meditative in a way.
Mm,
And another thing I love about this movie is like it didn't feel fake like how Black Panther felt. It didn't feel fake black. Like all the little reference, I'm like, is this a black movie? We looked at each other like, yo, is this a black movie? Like low key, because like when they talked about haircuts, yo, you gotta get that haircut right, or it was just like so many like
yeah. I felt like that
things.
during Black Panther. Yeah, yeah. Like it was like, oh, this movie real black. Like
Even the way the
like.
characters looked and stuff.
colonizer. But
Disney,
But
Disney, Disney.
yeah, no, I was in
yeah,
the fact what the even the part where like okay, he got his gig, and now he finally get what he wants. But it
mm,
was just like, I mean, I thought like he was gonna be the
yeah,
cat, and the cat was gonna play the
yeah.
piano
Right. Like, oh, I'm
secretly,
Oh
gonna have to
yeah,
and it's like,
learn, and
oh,
which would have
and it's like, oh,
been
I can't believe he
Ratatouille
got
again.
yeah,
Ratatouille. yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
literally
yeah,
the
yeah.
opposite because it's a cat. That's funny. But it was like, oh, like I like so many things. Like
Yeah.
when I graduated college, when I got my first job, it's just like, okay, I finally got it. I thought I'll feel different.
Mm.
What now? And then what she said about the fish wanting water, wanting the ocean, and then they point out the ocean to the fish, and the
What do you
fish like, no,
expect?
that's just
It's
water.
water. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
and
water. It's like, what do you expect?
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
about really achieving your dreams or really about like the Picasso figure said,
Yeah.
you artists with your passions and your purpose, like you just get so stuck on your purpose and your
I'm
passion
the
that
chosen one.
yeah, it's not about making it. Like a lot of like athletes, it's like, oh, I gotta be the best,
Yeah.
and it's just the overall language of being an athlete, but that's not what matters. Like us playing basketball and everything like that. It's about really it's not about the journey. It's about the friends we made along the way. It's
No,
about,
no. If I could switch it, I would.
6'6" and the
I want to
3-point
be a I want to
shot
be a
and a
basketball
dunk
TikTok
shot.
star. Your brother.
Yeah.
I would be your brother. But yeah, so yeah, it's not
Yeah.
about like your purpose is not basketball. Like I was born to do this.
Yeah. Yep.
It's it's really Spark, and that was different.
And the scenes, right? That kind of validate it, man. And there's nothing wrong with being like the LeBron James or the Martin Luther King Jr. of the world and everything. But the scenes, right, where we have the societal. Well, the
Yeah,
society, Dre's making that face. The societal thing came from Abe Lincoln and Mother Teresa telling 22 Tina Fey's character who's trying to figure it out, right? She's like, I don't have anything I'm good at. And they're all getting frustrated, like, no, you have to be great like us.
yeah,
And she gets frustrated, like, oh, I don't even want to live. If I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, right? So, but that's not the point. The point is you support the people who touch you, I mean, metaphorically,
yeah.
who love you, who support you, your parents, your students, like a lot of us, we're in like the Kakashi, phase in Naruto, even though he's like a chosen one, than like being Naruto. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
that's a
like
good
the
point.
the fact that we cultivate a community,
Oh,
that you guide
Naruto.
people along the way, is a big accomplishment in itself. Rather than and I'll say this, like when you have to make it a top, man, you do have to sacrifice a lot. Like again,
Yeah,
going back to when he played with the band, and he's like, I don't really feel like I thought I would, even though you made it. It's like you do have to sacrifice a lot, and it's not like, and they didn't make the message like this is the wrong way. You should just be complacent and not, try to. But he's like, yeah, this wasn't like the feeling of like, yeah, now I made it. Now I'm like the
yeah.
best and teaching. Don't need that. And no, and again, the movie could have went that direction, like
It
just
could
have
have,
him play and yeah, I don't need to teach and thanks. But instead, it was
or it
like,
could have been
hey,
like,
I'll sort it
oh,
out.
I needed to teach all along.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
the
That's
other
in a
why
way
teaching
sense,
was,
too.
but
Yeah,
I realized
and
too
that's where I
with
thought it was
purpose.
going.
I realized too with purpose is like, as humans, I feel like, being a Christian and everything. I feel like as humans, we have we believe that I was put on this earth to play basketball. I was put on the earth to do
Hmm.
this or to do that. But deep down, as being humans and being
it's
beings,
just
like
one thing.
all, we have one thing, and we just want to live, and also we just want to have a peace in our souls, and peace in our flesh, and we just want to and peace in our
Yeah,
mind. That's all we really want. Because even me, I have these big aspirations, but when I pull back everything, it's just to feel free and to be free, right? And
Yep.
feel like that's most people, but in reality, like, oh, I want all the money, I want all the
yeah,
cars, I want this, but you really don't want that. It's just like extensions of things. Like no one grew up like I want to. No one was born in the stomach like, oh, I'm gonna get a car, like I want a Ferrari. It was never that. It was always
Yeah.
that the Ferrari could be part of your freedom, but the Ferrari is never you. And the sad part about the movie is one thing I do love about the movie is like they picked a middle aged guy. If they picked like a 20-year-old old who felt lost in life, most people are like, okay, that's every 20-year-old old.
right.
But
Yeah,
since he
that's
was
true.
40, it made you feel like for the older people, because we're pretty young, we still could mess up and do it, whatever.
Yeah,
For the older people in their 40s and their 50s and even late 30s and feel like they should have their life together, I think it spoke to them the most
mm,
because it's okay where you are, like you're
Yeah,
not a loser. You have, if you're 40 years old, you still have 40 plus years, like if you look at it like that, to live your
yeah.
life. And don't
and
look at it like that, which I really like appreciate about that movie. It let me know I could always
even
reinvent myself and just live.
even like even in the beginning of the movie, he didn't have a kid, a family, or anything, and you still never felt like he was a loser.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I'm
true.
saying?
Nerd. He had glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, Wonder
He
No,
just
Woman logic.
I really like that, and honestly, like to for your passion and to sacrifice, like that's a lot of pressure that
Yeah.
God would put on you, and I don't think that's correct. To do all these sacrifices and um so because I often think like if LeBron becomes the best in the NBA and he wins all these championships, and then people are like, "Hey, you're better than Michael Jordan," that doesn't mean anything, you know. It like for LeBron James, like at the end of the day, like there still will be another tomorrow, and life will still be life. And most people that like love you, you don't know them, and they don't know you for who you really are. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know his quote after the Lakers finals, winning it against the Heat, but it was kind of like that, like on to the next one, in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Like,
I said that. Yeah.
so,
it's an athlete mindset. It's
yeah,
why on to the next one. Like you just won a championship, and you had like why on to the next one. And
Uh,
like when I
it's
picked
not a
up
bad
drawing,
mindset either,
it's not
in
bad
my opinion.
mindset. But when I picked up drawing, it wasn't for to be the best drawer I could be. It was to in order for me to have the
Grow,
freedom of
yeah,
creating what I wanted to create, and that's
from
even
why
your
I
soul.
practice more.
even the on to the
Yeah.
next one that was good. Even the on the next one, like Max and I, we were both like we met each other playing basketball as little kids, and I used to be like, and I remember Teen Titans hit me so hard when
Mm.
Robin, I think he lost in something, or he's being in the games he's being
Mm.
aggressive, and then he said something like this. They're like, first place doesn't they said first it doesn't matter if you come first place. I forgot how he said it.
It
Um,
doesn't like it's something like it doesn't matter if you come in second place. All that matters is
it's first place. Yeah, if
is
someone could
first.
find that
Something like
quote,
yeah,
like while I'm saying that,
yeah.
like yeah,
I'll
it
dig
said
around.
something. If we had a producer, that would be fun. Yeah, because Robin said that, and I felt that. I lived life like that. There's times he came in second. We always came in second place, bro. I would just break the
Always. We
trophy,
were
bro.
second
Damn,
place
John
team, man.
Stockton,
We
I
were
played
the
Carl
with
number
Malone
we
everyone.
were
over
the number
here.
one second placers,
Oh
and I would
no,
break the trophy, bro. And it was like, nah,
Sometimes
Charles
bro.
we would
Barkley. Oof.
not have enough wins to win second place, and the second place team would forfeit, and we somehow end up in
No,
the
we always send
championship.
up in second place,
Yeah.
and and then like it's like when I thought about, it, I was like kind of ungrateful for me. Like I'm still in a. First of all, I'm in a
Oh, here we
position
go. Here
of
we go. Yeah.
what is it? What is it?
Oh, sorry, man. Go back on the middle school basketball years, but
No, put it
No,
on
what was the
your
quote?
put it on the screen.
Or
oh
just
yeah,
read it.
yeah.
Or just
Winning
read it.
isn't everything. It's just
It's
the
the
only
only.
thing that
Yeah,
matters.
that was literally my
That's
mindset.
Bruce
Literally.
Wayne's
And when I
kid
remember
right
Robin's,
there.
I was like, see, someone
Damn.
gets me.
Not really. Oh,
Someone gets
no.
me. A cartoon. You know.
I mean, he was
And
wrong in that show. They
no, no,
proved
he
it.
was
They're
wrong,
like,
but I was like,
yo,
no, 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 he was right. No, 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 he was really
no.
right.
Oh, he was.
But yeah, so and that's what you
Mm.
gotta like realize in life. Like all of this don't matter, bro. Like I
But
mean,
why everybody want to be remembered so much? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
that's the thing. I think it's. Oh man, we're getting philosophical over Soul. It's
this
it's
is
that
real
good of a movie.
tear,
Gets you
boys.
right.
Tears,
Tears.
boys.
Yeah. Man, I'd say I think people do want a legacy. I'm not saying it's the only reason why people, for example, right, want kids, but it is an impactful thing. Like, hey, I'll be remembered, and that's something some people struggle with. Like, oh man, I didn't do anything. But when you look back, right, even the small victories, being like in the semifinal or the finals, like being, graduating from college, for example, graduating from high school, that's a big thing still. And I think a lot of us, we sometimes get so caught up in, okay, the future, that we forget that, hey, you've come a long way. You really have. Even being born is like a 1 in a billion chance. Being you.
Yeah, we
And,
throw that
you
out
know,
like it was like okay,
like,
and
okay, but it's a big deal, man. And use it as motivation not to be like, all right, that's it. But to be like, you know what? I could move to the next step. It's not as painful. All those times, whether you study for the SAT or, pass the Regents test, the high school exams or whatever. And now it's like, okay, that's done and over with. You've accomplished a lot. Whether getting married, whether, what I mean, like completing college. So you're still getting at it. For example, you meaning in
Yeah.
general, any of you guys or me for that matter.
Ooh.
So
Look at the
um,
camera like Wonder Woman.
when when that scene, which one of my favorite scenes in the movie, I think the whole movie is my favorite scene, but when
It's a good scene.
22 is on the stoop, still as Joe, and she's like, you guys could correct me, when she's like, wow, so I've been walking and breathing and standing and stuff, so that maybe that's my purpose. And Joe at first is like, that's not a purpose, that's just living.
That's
What
regular
did you
living
got? Can
stuff.
you
Yeah.
guys interpret that for me? Because I interpret it as he's right, but that could also be in a way someone's purpose too. Like, hey, you're put on
The,
this earth, and
I think at the
that's
end
just
of it,
one aspect. So what you guys interpret that scene? Because I
I
really like
think
that one.
I think every single
Mm.
person that's on this earth was meant to be on this earth. You know how like some parents is like, "Oh, you are my mistake, baby."
Oh my god,
Never me. That was
the
never
the
me.
one night
that is
But
me.
mistake.
Third
but like to
third
be
Oh,
boy.
honest, no one is a true
oh
mistake.
no,
Even
yeah,
if you were mistakenly made, even if your parents didn't want you, you are meant to be here because your impact, even though in the grand scheme of things it don't matter, but on the micro level of things, your impact is so important. And like no matter like to the smile you give on to a stranger, to anything, and they're like, oh, that person smiled at me. So I like I said, we want to be great. This Michael Jordan. It's kind of like a Michael Jordan curse the world because everyone would be number one. Just like his curse of gambling. So everyone would be number one, and everyone everyone wants to be number one. But in reality, it's just like, yo, you just being you is the best. Is being the
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
and
And I kind of hate it because that I lost that, to be honest. Like
Mm.
not drive, but I lost that like competitive edge. I don't even care anymore. I don't know if that's say like I care
yeah,
as long, I only compete with myself, I guess.
Yeah.
But I kind of like damn, I kind of miss that edge I had, but it's like kind of dead,
You
you
should
know.
still. I mean,
yeah.
you could still should still carry it. That's what I'm saying, man. You use
No, I compete
motivation. Hey,
against
I
myself,
did
not
all
like
this. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, but it's like it's like before I was like I
A
see a
Robin,
guy, especially
that
like
edge.
the Robin. I was like, I bet I'm gonna get you, but in reality, it's just like, bro, we not in the same. Not even because I think I'm better or worse. Just
Yeah.
like, bro, I'm like what I'm trying to do, and I think because my purpose is getting more clearer,
Mm.
like I'm nowhere near where I should be, but it's more of like doing good on my life, not really like being the best so other people see I'm the best.
Yeah.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And
So
it's really for me. It's just like there's things I want to be really good at, maybe the best, but what I really want is the freedom for me to do whatever I want to be the best or to be that type of person to help people and everything like that. Because like in this like corporate whatever world that we live in, it I've always got to relate that to that. um, it literally when you work a 9 to 5, from 9 to 5, you have to like only apply like half of your humanity for 8 hours, and because
Mm.
you can't say a couple of things, you have to pretend that you care about the overall growth of the company, but honestly, it's just for you and your well-being, and you have to do all this where even trying to convince yourself, and that's really like it's not living
Yeah. I mean,
in a
that's
way.
why. That's why he had. But I'm not disagreeing with you completely. But that's why
Yeah.
it's interesting. I showed Joe having both. Where he is like, hey, like, and it's an important thing too. I mean, yeah,
Hmm.
in more corporate setting in a way, like, yeah, you're like, well, I'm not like helping kids or the future of the world. You know, I'm helping getting a profit. Just for people to have a job because we need a job because
Hmm.
there's no like universal income. You know, but which is kind of like a scam in a way. It's like, well, you need money, so you make money, but you dedicate time to making other people's money. So um, with Yeah, with that it shows both. Like it's like, hey, Joe is coming from a background of music and passion. You see him, the flashbacks where he had like passion for rap and hip hop. He was like, no, jazz. His dad loved it, and the mom says it. The mom's part of that corporate world in a way. Like, hey, we got to put food on the table. I'm
Hmm.
running this not salon. It was not laundromat,
Sewing,
like
or
seamstress, like
seams. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm doing this. She's in that world, and the dad was more in like that. Hey, I don't want any of that. That's my dream to be a jazz musician, and it shows that the dad isn't completely right with it, but Joe
Yeah.
is kind of like both. Like, hey, I can still not like totally dedicate 9 to 5, but also not
Well,
like
yeah,
totally
it's what
give
they were
up
talking
his
about, the
dream.
zone.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's what they were
yeah,
talking about,
that
the zone.
zone,
When you
the
get
zone,
too obsessed
yeah.
in the zone and everything, you become
And
obsessive,
we've
and
all been in
and
it easily.
oh yeah, like
Too
we've all
obsessed.
been.
You get dragged.
Sometimes when I'm drawing and
Yeah.
it's like 3 a.m. and I'm
You're like,
working on the
wow,
most
really?
minute details,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
And just like that, he got kicked out of the
Yeah.
website.
Oh
Yeah,
well.
I got so tired of that
He
guy.
got talked in the
Um,
zone, guys.
yeah, he got in the zone. He talked about his drawing and he got excited.
But
Um,
I'll say this before when Max reconnects the zone. So Andre, how I interpreted the zone. The zone people in the movie, it's where you get stuck in. It's not like hell, but it's like like purgatory, like depression and honestly like suicidal, like suicidal like thoughts. Like people get sucked in, your soul gets just like so crushed from doing something that you don't have the passion or you care about what you're doing. And Max is
and ladies and
connecting, but
gentlemen,
well, I'll
he
I'll
is
I'll
back.
I'll,
But
I'll I'll
continue
bring
that
up to
question.
speed. Yeah, so I'm trying to elaborate more on the soul, Max, and we'll get to your thing again, man, before the call dropped. But
okay.
No, never.
like the, but like
He
with
left.
the what do you think of the portrayal of the zone, man? And tackling depression and suicide too, where it's not so much like drawing, like you're spending 3 a.m. doing something, but it's that you're doing something and you don't have the passion for it,
No,
versus
but
being
what I
like
was saying about the
automatic. Were
what I was
you
saying about
talking
the
about
3 a.m. thing is
yeah,
that
like drawing?
you
Mm,
sometimes, like me and my wife, we're both drawing and it's like 3 a.m. working on like the finest details, and it frustrates us and we end up kind of like fighting because
mm,
like we could just go to sleep and wake up and find out like the thing that we're working on, it doesn't even matter to the overall picture. Like we didn't have to like fix that, we didn't have to change that, we didn't have to stay up that late, and it really messes with our attitudes. And one time like we really just we kind of argued like when you know like when you draw, you kind of get in a weird mean, like when you stay up and you get obsessive. And that's like the movie, like that's how I related. Like sometimes when you're in the zone too much, even with sports, with basketball, like you, I'm over here playing basketball by myself for 2 hours, and somebody's like, "Yo, you want to pick up?" And you're like, "I don't want to play with you. You know, I gotta be the best." It that's not good for you.
yeah, yeah, because it showed, right? It showed when they're in like that desert scene and looking at people in there doing their passions
The
or
lost
whatever,
souls, that's what it's called.
the Valley of Lost Souls or wherever, you
Yeah,
see people just floating, and that's kind of it is. You're kind of like going back to the ocean thing, even though it's a desert. Your head's kind of above water in a way. Like you have all these people doing their going about their day or doing their whether it's acting or music or stock market. But then how easy it's like you could fall off, and then it
yeah,
doesn't become again a passion or something interesting or something healthy for you. And you could get caught so obsessed or caught up in like, oh man, I'm not reaching that, I'm not reaching that. You get dragged down. And I was saying to Dre, and I mentioned to you when we saw it. It's kind of like an interesting take too on like depression and
yeah.
dealing with that heavy subject too, without them saying like, oh, this guy was
Exa-
depressed.
Yeah, they were
So
really not on the nose.
and Pixar, I'm not saying Pixar doesn't hit depression, but a lot of times you have like, oh, character sad, character, angry, character,
Hmm.
happy. You don't have like a character like depressed where they have to like, I don't know, like deal with it in
I
that way.
I like how the
um
jokes
where they're
of
like, yeah, it
what
exists.
the I like how the jokes of what they were telling her, like the Gandhi and Mother Teresa was saying to 22. They it end up being the source of her insecurity and her depression at the end. It was actually funny in the beginning.
Yeah, in the
Like the
beginning, yeah.
audience laughed
It
with
was
me.
like cheesy pun, like it's cutesy
Yeah,
puns, like all right, but
and then
yeah,
yeah, that was
oof,
really good.
yeah, yeah. They even,
And
hmm
the whole purpose, the way that like I feel like all of us are taught that we have a purpose and we have to find that purpose and I think is that you just have to keep being you, and that's really like one of the hardest things you can do
You
in
is
this
the
life.
purpose.
ah,
You is the purpose.
But man, that movie, like I've never seen anything tackle like life itself in such a good
yeah,
way.
and that's what I'm saying. It might be like a critique if I had, which you don't have to say anything bad about a movie. I mean, oh, that movie, but it does bite off a lot, and it does it in a good way. It does it in an amazing way, you know. But it is like, wow, dealing with a lot. I wish this movie was 2.5 hours. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, right.
And that's all I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
because this,
Oh yeah, I wanted more, but
yeah,
it
not a
was so
sequel, but like more,
satisfying.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing, man. That you don't it because it's so massive how and does it so well. Soul does it so well, doing all this that you don't need the closure. You want the closure, but it's like you don't need it. Where it's like, oh, he sees 22 again. Like the end of Monsters Inc. when like slowly opens the
Ooh,
door. Boo! Oh, what she say? Kitten, right? Kitty.
kitten,
Yeah.
kitty.
And then you like, like this was like he doesn't need to, you kind of don't need to see it. You
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of saw
you
in the
don't.
beginning of, in a way, Joe starting his own new, you know, soul in a way. Recapturing what he kind of was losing for a bit.
I,
So
I the other thing I liked is I feel like if we were having a Black Panther review, like a part of it would be like how the movie was good, but look how black it was. But this one is
Black
just like,
Panther 2.
and after all of the greatness of this movie,
Yeah.
it is so beautifully black. Say the characters, the kids, the way the kids look in their hairstyles and the way the barbershop, like they have
Yeah.
barbershop like knowledge and no, you gotta wait for an appointment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, that one guy, that one old guy who's kind of shaky with the
oh yeah,
lineup and the shape up, no one wants to go to.
the
Yeah.
guy that nobody has, that's his
Just
seat,
sitting
and
in
the
the
seat is always
chair. You're like, wait,
empty.
is that for customer?
Every
No,
barbershop has a guy who has an
sitting in the
empty seat.
chair. Yep, yep.
Yeah, and
It's
it was
great.
just so it was just so good, man.
Yeah, it didn't do it like, see, we're black. It was like, it was very like, yeah, this is natural. Like,
They could have dragged the cat thing till the end of
yeah,
the
that's what I
movie, and
was
that's what I
saying.
thought
Yeah.
was gonna,
Yeah,
and they didn't even do that.
yeah, yeah. And I think for him to, yeah, again, like having the closure with, I think also with another scene that was done well was with Felissa Rashad's character Libba, right? Like the mom,
Yeah.
Joe's mom, where she wasn't like, oh, you better, like the freaking, I don't know, the 2000s, like 90s mom, like, oh, really hamming it up, like, oh Lord, this child is, no, she's just
Yeah,
like, I've been busting my butt for so many years, and I really don't want to see you end up like, your dad in this. And that's something that's been done a million times in shows and movies, but it's how you do it, and
yeah,
they
because this is
did
the
it
first
great.
time the character actually sat. Which, by the way, beautiful
First time
directing.
she,
How
yeah.
they like shifted. Like that's
Oh,
the
when
first
they
time.
had 22, yeah, and you had Jamie
Yeah,
Foxx's voice coming out.
yeah,
That was
and
great.
it's the first time the character actually talked to a person and it was like,
Yeah,
listen,
yeah,
like you know, which we all thought was the cliche. Like she was gonna see, he was probably gonna steal the suit, play the piano, and she's like, "Oh, he sounds just like your father." You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And then it's like, "This is your dream." You know, and there's so many cliches they avoided.
Yeah.
Um, again, I thought the cat thing was gonna happen, or they were gonna have to
Play the
teach
piano.
22. You know,
Yeah.
it's in your soul. That's how you
The
gotta learn how to
concert's
play.
tonight. It's in
Yeah.
your soul.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna
right.
have
Like
to
Listen,
learn
that.
it
you have my
tonight.
body. You could do anything.
Anything.
It's in your soul. You were great out
I
there.
love music. Music
Maybe I
is my
should. Yeah,
passion.
Yeah,
First off,
right? Yeah,
for a
right.
show about music, there was music, but I'm thinking like it's gonna be like Frozen 2. It's gonna be a musical. I
uh
was like, oh, not
oh,
oh
the
yeah.
music was
yeah. I
so
was
good though.
yeah.
When
The
they
only
it was really
plot hole the movie has, which is fine because it needed to do that,
mm,
is that his accident happened all in one day.
Well, you could say time and space is different.
Oh,
yeah,
never
yeah. You could
mind.
say a time
Uh,
works differently in the yeah.
which I wish they just said, but I assumed,
Yeah.
but I wish they
Yeah.
But
said
they
They
didn't
it's
call
said
none
slower.
like,
of
oh,
his
it's slower.
emergency
Yeah.
contacts.
Hmm?
They didn't call any of his emergency
Yeah,
contacts.
yeah, yeah.
Bro.
When I
That
was like,
yeah.
so the mom don't know you almost dead.
Yeah, your mama don't know, but that's
Yeah.
the only
Your
part.
girlfriend, you're not like,
Oh yeah,
your
I like
friend,
how that's another cliche they
Curly,
avoided. That's
played by
another cliche they
Questlove.
avoided.
Oh
They
yeah,
kept
no
saying,
love
"Hey,
interest.
No love.
when you gonna ask her out?" And I was like, "Okay, so he's gonna go up there and
Go
ask
to
her
his
out."
yeah.
And nope,
Nope.
like
Just
He
like
gets nervous.
that.
He's like, uh,
Oh,
he
oh.
better.
just come to my show. And she's
Yeah.
like, okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay. But she shows up mad fine in the show.
Yeah,
Like
and she
before, she's
kisses
just,
him on the cheek. And he's like, whoa,
"I'll see you next show, right?"
Right.
yeah.
Oh.
And then the villain
Yeah,
comes in. There won't be a next show. And then
I thought the hater was the villain
the
too. I was like, okay,
the
the
hater.
Oh
hater.
yeah,
No, no.
I thought the hater was about to get Steve Trevor.
It was just David Diggs, Steve
You know,
Trevor,
by the
Steve Trevor.
monster, by
Yeah,
the
Oh,
right.
the
little
accountant.
rat.
I'm
The accountant.
evil.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
First of all,
I
we
figured
already
he'd get
know.
to
I
the.
mean, without saying it, we
Yeah.
already know who they try
So great.
uh, show who the accountant is. That was kind of racist, but we're
Who'd
gonna
they show?
skip by
What
that.
do you mean? The accounts are
Um,
racist?
no, I mean the way they try to make the accountant talk and the height.
Uh.
It's pretty. But hey, sometimes you gotta
Oh
throw a little bit of
no.
that.
Oh no. Not
You
like
know,
that.
the only thing I didn't like for sure, was when they talked about Tina Fey and she was like, "Well, I'm a middle-aged white lady. I'm meant to be annoying," and I was like,
Uh,
you don't
Karen
need that
joke.
joke in there. Yeah, like you don't have to exclude nobody. Like you
That
don't
Yeah.
was
need
too
that
much
joke
on
in.
the nose. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
damn.
You just
Like if they
yeah.
said
You
hell, I
just
mean, I know hell's not a curse. I'm like, damn, is
18
this for
Oh no,
PG
I like
13?
that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there was like ACW
Hell.
hockey stick.
Hell.
You mean hell? That was
You mean hell,
that was
hell,
it.
hell? I was like, oh,
I
okay.
was like, damn.
Uh,
They
That's
Guess
yeah,
it's
funny
they
how
for
don't
the
they
know.
like
TikToks.
they made a villain and it was like, well, the Earth is gonna have trouble with this one. And
Nope.
that's there's like
Does
he's a narcissist. He's
Yep.
evil. He's or well, the Earth's gonna have a problem with this
Yeah,
guy.
just
And
like that. Yeah.
I thought it would have. One last thing. I
hmm
thought um it would have been like so Eric. What happened with Eric? What's his name? Eric
Not
Gardner.
Eric Gardner. Joe
Damn,
Gardner.
damn.
You're
What
thinking
happened with Joe
another
Gardner?
New Yorker, man.
I
Damn.
thought
oh wow.
Yeah.
because he fixed the person that was
Yeah.
unfixable, they would have like, you know
Uh.
what, we're gonna change the whole system.
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah. Oh, the
Oh yeah, that's
system
what I
and
is
thought.
they
That's what I
blow
trash.
up
thought too.
everything and like your purpose is life. Like it's an experiment. And
That's
then
your.
I thought he
You
would be
don't
the
They
need a
guy.
already knew that.
badge.
He
You don't
didn't
need
know
a
that.
badge.
Yeah, I thought he would like stay
Rip
in
the
the spirit
badge up.
world
Yeah, rip
and
the
like
badge. Uncle
help
Iro.
people
Uncle
live. Like so
Iro.
they make people
Yeah.
live, make people go on Earth for a bit
Yep.
and then they're like, I'm ready. I was like, thank God they didn't go that way.
It was
Because
bro.
that'll be Wonder Woman plot. Like that'll be just too
Or
much.
the one remember when Tiara was like, she like there was like a baby and then Joe walks by the baby and they have a look because the baby's
Oh, the
22.
baby's Tina. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
Thank
I was
God.
like, okay, thank God
Thank
that's
God.
not in there. You know, like it was, man. I never like was wrong about a lot of things in the movie, and it just brought back my joy. Like
Yep.
I still can't believe this movie's real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
It is Pixar.
Long time coming too.
it's like whoa, this is a lesson that like out of everything, like I feel like even like in anime, when there's a lesson about life, it's always like bittersweet
Mm,
and more bitter than sweet. Like this one was
right.
just ah, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I think I'm not. I don't know what Pixar's thinking, right? We don't know what the mouse is thinking over there and wherever, but
Me and Andre were just hating on Pixar. It was like it's not the same. It's
but
just a company they
yeah,
bought.
but I think man, they still are
Moving
like,
on.
hey, people growing up with our movies, you know. I mean, if Toy Story was 25, 26 years ago, and you were like 14, you'd be Joe Gardner's age. You'd be 40 or
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like if you're
That's true.
14 watching Toy Story.
Then that's my
Um,
problem with Onward.
so
That's another
I
conversation.
know. I feel it's like different like they just have different producers. They have different
Yeah.
directors in the studio.
To
Because you
me,
have something
Onward
like
was lazy.
Coco and Soul, and then you have like I don't know, Cars 3 coming, and
Or
Incredibles
Mermaids
2,
We gotta
which
Dash.
talk
is
about Cars 3. Life is a highway. I
Rascal
will
Flats.
ride
He
it
shouldn't have
all
played jazz.
night
He should have played like
long.
Rascal country pop, country
Oh
rock.
man, he's a K-pop star.
Yeah, he's a K-pop star.
Mom, I wanted to be K-pop. You'll
But
never
this
make
Your
it, Joe.
father was trying to be a K-pop star, and look what happened. No, but that's the thing. I don't know if you guys want to wrap it up, but I don't
yeah, let's
mind.
wrap it up.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd say it was again tasteful. How not only it was a. Or it's safe to say, and I hate using this term like black movie because I feel movies for black people should be movies for everyone. But this definitely was a movie for everyone, and
Not so plain.
not so.
That shouldn't
Not
be
so
for everyone.
Soul Blade for
That's gonna
black
get a sequel. That's gonna get a sequel, man.
like
You
Boondock
know it.
said,
Yeah,
or
like
die trying.
Boondocks or Die Try. And
Yeah,
that's the
this
thing with
movie
Soul,
felt
man. It
like
was
imagine
great.
there's no
Oh
people.
no, not that again. Check our part one, people. Get some of these references. And yeah, man, it was great. Like Jamie Foxx, like everyone was great, and I won't even like this is transcends a Pixar movie. This is like a movie that even if you're a DreamWorks fanboy or whatever, it's an amazing movie to watch.
That is
And
a
I think
that
it'll
is a
age
good movie.
great too. Even there's some reference to that. The Knicks suck. You know, but
That's, hopefully that
the
joke
Knicks won't
doesn't
suck in
age.
20.
Hopefully that
That
joke
joke ages, yeah, right.
doesn't age. Oh yeah,
It
it ages terribly.
ages, yeah. Like the next one, 10 champ. But yeah, man, it's great.
R.J.
The
Barrett
vibe, the
as the
music,
president.
the animation, like seeing how the little soul pre-souls and move and the people. Even though it's like okay, they didn't make Jamie Foxx like this, handsome, but he's still good looking. Like
Hmm.
guy in a way of like in a way I know Andre like in a way after the haircut, he looked better. I don't
Hmm.
know. But like they didn't draw the characters like caricature cuz that's a scared well I was scared of too, right? Pixar's not good at drawing people like that unless they're like superhero, weird looking. But I was scared they were going to make like the like black characters and you see one that's like problematic. But they drew like very very tasteful. The mom looked like
Somebody walked to
anyone's
Harlem.
mom. The saxophone player,
The facial
she
expressions.
looked,
The
just like
facial
real,
they had
like
some
Jill
black
Scott, like,
facial expressions.
could have been like, yeah, yeah, facial expressions, like Andre's facial expression here, looked amazing. Like they definitely put in effort. The barber, like everyone, even the minor characters, where
Hmm.
there was care put into there. So yeah, man, it's
Yeah,
definitely
man.
definitely one to watch, people. So
Masterpiece. Instant classic.
yeah. So
Good Kid, Mad City.
oh yeah, yeah, people, check out that album,
Well, To
please.
Pimp a
Kendrick
Butterfly
Lamar.
because it's
Before
jazzy.
people forget everyone talks about Whole Lotta Red, and Playboy Cardi, and that's great. But don't forget the classics either, man.
A
That
classic.
album's almost 10 years. It's 10 years old.
Oh
So
my
it's a
gosh.
classic.
Dang.
So anyway, people, Dre got disconnected, but I'll say this, just wrap it up. Yeah, check it out on Disney Plus. I'd love to have seen it in theaters, but circumstances. But yeah, it's been good, Max. Thanks for again being on the show once again, bro. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Peace.
Hello.
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. My
Mayday.
camera's
Great.
disabled.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Wrapping
but
it
I was
up.
gonna say, man, you have any final thoughts? I'm just trying to do the send off and say, hey, thanks for tuning in, checking out our podcast here. Weekly tier news. We've been off with that, but we'll get back to that. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out Max. What's your new Instagram handle, man? Where can we follow you? I think he's
Out of
gone.
tune.
Out of
Out
tune.
to OUTTA_tune TOON.
All right. Yeah, and we'll link it in our description. In YouTube, we'll see if we can mess around with Spotify and everything. And definitely check them out. Great drawings, the art, the graphics, the designs, the pictures. Call it whatever you want. They get better each time, man. You're doing backgrounds now, so if you want anyone to look for graphics or art or whatever, hit him up. Definitely. So thanks again for being on the show. And Tier Boys out. Happy New Year's, by the way, guys. Coming up in a few days. So we'll get to that. So stay tuned. Peace.
Your boy's out.
All right. Great. Good shit.